don't have as much volume of loads available to you, but you can haul some of the flatbed loads. Like, I didn't have access to the freight. I was working the spot market with Landstar when I bought the trailer, but I did find some of that freight, and I was able to get paid really well on those. And I don't know if you pull a dry van. I don't know. I remember when I was doing dry van, I don't remember calling shippers and receivers there as much. I think that's one of the differences. Is, if you do platform, like any kind of platform, RGN, flat, step, any of it, a lot of times you're not, like you almost always have a site contact, because you're not just going in and looking for shipping and receiving. Sometimes, even if there is regular shipping and receiving, they want you on a different part of the property, or they'll have you coming in a certain entrance that might not be the normal truck entrance, or they want your truck facing a certain way. So you normally have to do a little bit more communicating in advance before you get to places. That's all I pulled. I never did any flatbed work, but it's similar to step deck. You could switch between the two without too much of an issue. And really, I mean, RGN work, I mean, you could do, it wouldn't be too much of a, transition to switch from pulling a step to an RGN. Now doing like the smaller loads, if you're doing, if you're pulling real big heavy stuff, that would be a bit of more of a difference, because you'd be, maybe not always, but you'd be permitted more often. You'd probably have to have a little quicker, efficient workflow for permitting, and you wouldn't use straps as much. That would be one of the differences. You'd be doing a lot more just messing with chains, which I really like. I mean, I don't like carrying them around, but that's why I got the short chains. So if I'm carrying, I'll try to carry the shortest. I try to use the shortest chains possible. But those chains are normally pretty quick and easy compared to, a strap, where you got a bunch of different straps on the load. I've kind of avoided the RGN world because I think it's more deadhead, and you're more limited on what you can put on the trailer. You got a short well you're working with. And to pull the bigger ones, I mean, you probably need at some point you got to get up to a 4-axle truck. I like step deck work. It's it's a good mixture of platform freight for me. You can haul some of the taller stuff. Yeah, I put a lot of flatbed loads on here. I do some stuff that could go in an RGN, but it's not tall enough to really need it. It's not heavy enough to, really need the extra axles. Or, I mean, I've got 3 axles on this step deck, so it can pull some of the heavier loads. And compared to flatbed, the step deck you don't have as much volume of loads available to you, but you can haul some of the flatbed loads. And if you had, like I used to have levelers, I had ramps and I could use them as levelers, so I could do even more of the flatbed loads. But the benefit of the step is that if you get into, and especially with the low pro step, is there's certain freight that is long and tall, and they really need that trailer, and so you're able to charge a pretty good premium on those loads. Now, if you don't have access to that kind of freight, like I didn't have access to the freight. I was working the spot market with Landstar when I bought the trailer, but I did find some of that freight, and I was able to get paid really well on those. some loads, the low pro pays off because you can, like I was thinking about it, and I was talking to one of the guys that was pulling those same things out of from Kansas to Arizona, and he was talking about going through Colorado and he couldn't run at night. Well, I looked at his trailer and he was probably sitting between 6 and 10 inches taller than I was, so his permits were different than mine. So while we both had permits for it, it was, you know, different restrictions depending on how over height you are. And some of them that you would need a permit for on a regular step, I don't need any permit at all, because mine just barely gets me under the legal limit. This car's going
2 miles. Take exit 124.
I would normally be in that center lane, but we got just a couple miles to go to the exit, so I'm just gonna hang out. They are going extra. I guess it's because of this Amazon truck up here. Pretty good in the winter time to be in areas where you have roads named Citrus Avenue. That normally means you're not in a lot of snow and ice.